Okay, Jacob Thornberry and Music City Drive-In. And I'm so happy to be here with you, Bailee, and with you, Kevin, stars of the new film A Week Away on Netflix, March 26th. How are you guys doing today?
We're
Doing well, thanks. How
good,
you doing, Jacob?
Jacob.
I'm doing good. So of course, this film is shot in Nashville, and for my Nashville listeners and a lot of my friends, they went to Camp Widgewagon. And so for Bailee, what was it like shooting a film at a summer camp, and how was that kind of different from other settings that you might have shot a film at?
It was very different. I never had a chance to go to camp because I was, my camp was pretty much set when I was growing up, which was a lot of fun. But to be able to experience camp in that setting and film a movie there every single day was a highlight. I'd never gotten to see anything like that before or experience it. And my heart loves Nashville so much. So to have gotten to get the Nashville camp experience, that made it even better.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. That was one of the cool things for me. Just because, like I said, like I'm from Nashville and I have friends who have gone there, so it was cool kind of seeing, especially that opening scene with Kevin kind of running through Nashville. I was able to point out some of those places, like I know that. Um,
Yeah, Antioch.
yeah, exactly. And Kevin, to add on to the kind of the camp question, you guys did a lot of things. You played flag football. You did paintball, which I never knew was a camp activity. You
Is
did the
now.
blob. I think one point you even did the blob. Were there ever moments when you were filming, and Bailee, if you want to hop in after, were there ever moments you were filming and you kind of just forgot that you were filming a movie and kind of felt like I'm at summer camp?
Absolutely. In fact, it's funny that you mentioned those activity days because those were the days that we forgot we were filming a movie. It wasn't a lot of lines, a lot of dialogue or scene work. It was mainly supposed to be us just having fun doing normal camp activities. And I remember seeing that day on the call sheet that we were supposed to shoot a field day of sporting day, sporting events around the camp that day. And it was just, so natural. And I think any day that an actor realizes the cameras aren't rolling, or at least thinks that they're not rolling, is a good day for an actor.
Yeah.
And Bailee, do you have anything to add?
And it was ditto to all of that. Honestly, the entire field day. I would say because I was a co-producer on this, I had to have my mind reminding myself that we were filming, but I was getting lost myself. But there were a few times where like we would all be so competitive, and like Kevin and I were really competitive with each other. And there was one moment where I wanted to win, and I knew that Kevin wanted to win, but I had said to myself before that take, like, okay, we need to play this like Will and Avery. We need some cute shots in here for the montage. So I went to grab Kevin's flag, and he like tried to pull away, and I pulled it, and he like looked at me. He was like, "That's not, that wasn't fair. Like that wasn't the right way." And I looked at him. I was like, "The camera's on us, Kevin. It's cute." And he was like, "Ha, ha, ha." You know what I mean? Like, and like we both went in the scene together, and it's totally in the movie. But no, there were so many times when we just kind of embraced what we were filming, and it was genuine joy on and off camera.
Which, speaking of, your chemistry on screen, like it was so easy to see there was that kind of chemistry off screen as well. What is that kind of process of kind of building that chemistry so that it makes it over to the screen?
I think for us, it was spending time together. Obviously, we spent a lot of time together in rehearsals and preparing for those scenes where we needed to have a lot of chemistry. But we also developed a friendship outside of when the cameras were rolling. And I think it was just really easy for people to see how simply it bleeds into the picture itself. So I think just spending time together outside, getting to know each other a little bit better, really played to the benefit of our characters' relationship.
Yeah, and I would also like to get, props to Kevin on a work front because, a lot of people do say it's so important to have that time before filming and to try to dive into it. I'll be honest when I say like once we hit the ground running in Nashville, it was nonstop, and we were in dance rehearsals, we were recording, we were trying to sneak in moments as much as we could, but for the most part, our schedules were pretty packed, and I think that the fact that those moments come to play on the screen is just a simple nod to the actor. And it was a joy to get to play off of him and to see him try new things, and I think we just had a genuine trust in each other's instincts and wanted to play off of that as much as we could. And that's like one of the greatest feelings as an actor, when you get to do that.
Yeah, and you brought up the choreography, the dancing. Of course, this film's a musical. What is it kind of like filming a musical where you have to go from acting a scene straight into a massive song and dance routine? Like especially that one when you guys first get to camp. I thought that one was just incredibly awesome.
You liked that one?
I really enjoyed that one.
Good.
They're shot so much out of order.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as actors, I feel like whenever we see a scene called up on the call sheet, we treat it like a scene. And even if there's no dialogue, a musical number is a scene that adds to the movie as a whole. So it didn't feel that different than normal scene work, besides for the fact that there was just a lot of movement. But again, we just put in so many hours of preparation into that, that it felt like we had been rehearsing dialogue. It just felt second nature by that point. And I think that's where we wanted everyone to be in the cast. And our choreographer made sure that we were ready.
The only thing I will say that's kind of a fun fact is they would there were a few times when they would send us a sped up version of the track, because sometimes they would need to film in slow-mo, which means the track actually, in order to make that happen, had to be sped up. So instead of being like God only knows, it would be like God only knows what you've been through, God only knows it's the same, right? You know what I mean? It's like that fast. So that's like something you can't prepare for. That is the most unnatural thing. So you're trying to act, but your mouth is going like a million miles an hour. So that was always a good giggle for all of us.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting, kind of learning that. And aside from all the camp games, aside from all the music, aside from everything like that, I think this film tells a lot of stories, and a lot of stories that touched me, and hopefully will touch a lot of other people. About not only just finding faith, finding love, finding yourself. And for Kevin, what do you, why do you think this film was able to not only just be a fun movie, but really touch on some of these more intimate and heavy subject matters?
I think the heart of the movie is so pure, and the emotion of the movie is so pure. It's not like anything is too far out of left lane. I feel like at the end of the day, when you have a bunch of characters trying to fit in or find themselves, it makes it really easy for our writers to tie in these faith aspects and these belonging aspects. And in that sense, it doesn't make bringing in the whole faith thing into the movie too difficult.
Yeah.
And Bailee, is there anything you need to add?
Yeah, I mean, not that I need to add.
Well, yeah, but that you want to add. Sorry.
I'm like, yes, I need something. Yeah, I would. I just because I love that question so much, Jacob. I think what the big important part of this movie was as well is how do we make a film that can in fact lay in the faith-based landscape, but also be accessible for people that aren't a part of that landscape. I think the big thing was how we don't want to push anything down people's throats or force anyone to come up with an idea or an opinion. But so many of these lessons with faith are common human lessons. It's about lending a hand to a neighbor and trying to be there for each other and encouraging our younger generation that you are in fact good enough and that your beauty is what's important on the inside. And so I think that the way that we sprinkled it in just felt like genuine conversations. It didn't feel like we were preaching it all. And I think as actors, we were really grateful for that. It felt very natural and very authentic and words that would be spoken to a friend or a stranger.
Yeah, I mean, I think, especially for me, I am religious, so I was able to get that aspect of it, but there was just so much more with it that I was able to kind of pull from as well. And one question regarding like your characters, and this is for Bailee. Kevin comes in, and of course, he and Bailee start off completely kind of polar opposites on the outside. Why do you think that you were able to kind of see through that outer shell to who he really was?
I think that there's a part of Avery that just recognized his pain. She lost her mom to cancer. Thankfully, she had her dad there and her friends there, but she doesn't talk about it. And there's, people, Kevin's character gets that warning of, we don't really talk about that. She doesn't really mention it. So clearly she's still holding things in, and she's still having to cry on her own and deal with that pain. And so I think when she meets Will, she just notices that pain, and she notices the sense that he hasn't had anyone there to guide him through it, or walk him through it, or talk to him about it, or see him for who he is, because he's had to run his whole life. So I think that she's drawn to that. And I think that there's a part of her that has also been waiting for a human to enter her life to break down those barriers. And then of course she can't help but share her side of faith with him, because I do think that she feels like that could be really alive in his heart. And that's a huge chunk of Avery. And so I think she's excited to try to maybe go on that journey with him as well.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. That's exactly what I picked up from it. And I do think he was able to, or you were able to kind of see through that. And I thought it was kind of beautiful how you were able to find out who the real Kevin was. And starting with Kevin, what was just your favorite day on set, between all the music, dancing, everything like that, the games, kind of what was your favorite moment with filming this movie?
Any opportunity to do dramatic work is a win in my book. And I kind of took a break from drama. I started off in Chicago theater doing some drama stage productions, and I put that on hold a little bit to do some half-hour comedies, some multicam. So now circling back to those dramatic parts, it was really special. And I missed the opportunity to do that. So any day there was dramatic scene work to do, I love just getting into that kind of dark place. But I feel like it's very natural for me to go to that dark place, and it worked really well for the character. I love those days.
And Bailee, for you?
Oh, there were so many amazing days. I also loved when I wasn't in scenes, because if I could sneak out of hair and makeup or come to set early and just sit behind Video Village and watch the scenes, and talk to the producers and work on the scenes that we had going on for the rest of the day. I loved when I genuinely was able to kind of be behind the scenes and not running between a scene to Video Village. So those moments were always really fun and really special. But it was just every day. It simply was. It's not even a politically correct answer. It just genuinely every day was so special, and it felt like the most peaceful and healing time for my heart. I was always so thrilled to be there.
Yeah, I love that. And before I get to my final question, so I'm going to move away from the film for a second and talk to Bailee. So you were in Bridge to Terabithia, of course, and I just have to say this. So I need you to know that when I was in 5th grade, was when Bridge to Terabithia came out. Me and maybe 10 of my guy friends were so excited to go see it. I don't know why. We were so excited to go see it. And so we got our parents to take us after school on like a Friday. And I just want you to know, like, from the moment that Leslie dies to the very end, when you and I can't remember, when you and Josh were in the end, there was an entire row of just 5th graders sobbing, just absolutely crying. And I remember, because I texted my friend earlier that I was doing this interview with you, and he was like, "You have to tell that story." His name's Drew.
Hi, Drew. If you're listening.
Yeah, I make sure you will. But he was telling me how, like, not even just during that, like after we bought the movie, and we would just go and watch it like nonstop. And I think that is honestly the first time that I ever cried in a film. So I just I want you to.
No, thank you for telling me that. That movie, the fact that happened is still so crazy to me, and I feel so blessed. But you are not alone. You and the guys. I mean, my dad, we did like a hometown local screening, because we thought this will be the only movie I'm ever in, and we're gonna make the most of it, and let's do a hometown premiere. And my dad was sobbing uncontrollably on the top row, like just tears pouring out of his eyes. But I'm glad that you liked it, and Drew, thank you guys for going. That made my day.
Yeah. And, to wrap it up, I just want to say thank you guys so much for talking with me. March 26th, go watch A Week Away on Netflix. You guys were amazing. Your song, dancing, everything,
Aw.
amazing. Thank you guys so much for talking with me.
Thanks, Jacob. Make sure to tweet me when this comes out because I adore you. Love talking to you. So I want to share it. God.